Stone Foltz died needlessly after drinking the equivalent of 17 shots of whiskey.
You're just in such traumatic shock.
Shari and Cory Foltz, Stone's parents.
Is there any way to describe the hole in your heart?
It's exactly that. It's a hole in your heart. The pain never goes away.
Prosecutors say that last year, brothers at Pi Kappa Alpha Fraternity, told pledges like Foltz to drink a liter of whiskey each.
It's a story we hear every year. A frat pledge member, for whatever reason, based off of either the pressure, direct telling of it, and as the discussion goes with this, they say he kind of did it on his own, so ends up dying in some form or fashion. It's a tragic story every time. In this case, it was Stone Foltz. So the question has become, who's responsible for this, as it usually is. Let's watch more.
His roommate found him unconscious.
Do you see his chest rising up and down?
No, not right now.
Okay, and he's blue?
Yeah.
Okay, then there's a good chance he's not breathing.
His final 3 days were in a coma. 8 fraternity members were convicted of a variety of charges, including reckless homicide. At least 3 will spend time behind bars.
These are young men and women. They need supervision. And that's where the lack was with the university.
So they're suing the university. Let's go to some details of what they're looking to get out of this. So the defense attorneys had argued that Foltz was not forced to required to finish the entire bottle and made that decision on his own. Wood County prosecutors argued that a power imbalance was used against Foltz by the frat members, which caused Foltz to believe the only way he would get into the frat was to drink the entire bottle. Also, the Lucas County coroner ruled his death as fatal ethanol intoxication during a hazing incident. Prosecutors said that during this police investigation, several of the frat members lied to investigators and destroyed both physical and electronic evidence to cover their asses. The sad thing here is that there's no winners in this situation, is what Rex Elliott said. He's a lawyer representing Mr. Foltz's parents in a separate civil complaint against Bowling Green State University. The Foltz family has lost their son, and these kids that were sentenced today, it's going to be on their records forever. Now, I feel like I hear that a lot about these kids that end up with these things on their records forever when it comes to things like these hazing incidents or goofing around, whatever it is that they're doing. And then, or even, I think they even said it with the Stanford swimmer. I think it was a swimmer who was convicted of raping that girl at school. And it was like, man, these kids, man, it's gonna be on their records forever. I thought that's the whole point of the deterrence, that they're supposed to think about these things beforehand. Because when it's someone else, let's keep it real. If it's something that happens in the streets, they're like, oh, this 16-year-old, we got to put him in the electric chair.
Yeah, no, for sure. This kind of thing actually hits pretty close to home. A very close friend of mine, somebody that I grew up with, actually died in a hazing incident. He was pledging Alpha Phi Alpha down in Florida years ago, and he passed away from just like, they was just beating the dude up. You know what I mean? And so but you hear about these hazing incidents all the time, and I don't really know how you stop it, to be honest, because what they do is they haze you so that you feel like you've quote unquote earned your position within the organization. And it's like a badge of prestige when you're in college. And when you're a young, impressionable person, you want to feel a sense of belonging. You want to feel like you're part of something that's really great. And so you subject yourself to this hazing type of stuff. It's just crazy, man. I just find it wild. It's like an evolved society that we would still resort to this hazing type of thing, even in 2022. It's terrible, and I would just hope that kids growing up, getting into college, would be like, yo, I'm good off of this fraternity, sorority stuff. I don't need to be hazed. I don't need to be beat up. I don't need to do these gross activities that they have them do to be accepted by a group, man.
Yeah, and it's weird because it's a continuous cycle, because the reason why they keep doing it is like, well, I went through it when I was 18, I'm gonna do it to this kid. So it has to keep happening over and over again, despite the fact, again, like I said, it happens every year. And then someone gets in trouble, someone dies, and there's all this trauma around it. But somehow they don't see those news stories. They don't see the effects and go, maybe I don't wanna be that guy. maybe I don't want to be involved in something like this. I'm talking about the frat brothers that tend to engage in this. The kid that comes in and wants to get through all of this or think he's gonna be involved or accepted. I don't know. I mean, it's different for every kid. And maybe that's part of what many people are worried about when they send a kid off to schools is things like this. I don't know. I don't want to speak directly against the organizations of fraternities in the first place, but maybe we should change a couple of these normalcies that they engage themselves in. It's just, it's horrible. I mean, your kid to get to 20 years old and that's it.